morning. Y'all join me in the invocation this morning. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day, and we're always grateful for an opportunity to serve you and our community. Father, we're grateful for this rain you sent us. Thank you for seeing us through that dry spell. Lord, we also pray for all the families around our community that need your touch, your healing touch, your comfort. We ask you to minister to them today. We also ask you to be with all of our folks working the election today. Father, give them grace and enable them to do their best. Thank you for how you love us and take care of us. We're grateful to you. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Join me in the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. I got it all on paper. Big thing. I think they did. Today we do have some announcements here. This is for our Veterans Day recognition. And just so you guys know, this Monday's a holiday, November the 11th at 11 a.m. over at Memorial City Hall, there will be a Veterans Day program there. That's this Monday at 11. And also to honor our veterans that work here for the county. These are currently employed, and I'll just read through this list. We have Daryl Bailey in adult probation. He served in the Navy. Bob Cole in our DA's office served in the Air Force. Denise Lee in our extension office served in the Army. Robert Perkins in IT served in the Army. Dustin Townsend in IT served in the Air Force and the Navy. Josh Mercer in our maintenance department served in the Navy. Noah Aguillard served in the Navy. Works in our sheriff's office. Clayton Anderson works in the sheriff's office, served in the Navy. Douglas Ashmore works in the sheriff's office, served in the Navy. Jared Bailey works in the sheriff's office, served in the Army. Craig Black works in the sheriff's office, served in the Army. Rocco Bruno works in the sheriff's office, served in the Army. Ron England works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Zachary Fountain works in the sheriff's office, served in the Army. Jerry Hain works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Joshua Hill works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Kenneth Hines works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Jansen Moranto works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Tracy Sepulvado works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Nelson Valle works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Joshua Van Buskirk works in the sheriff's office, served in the Army. Paul Vaughn works in the sheriff's office, served in the Army. Orlando Washington works in the sheriff's office, served in the Marines. Carrie Easley works in our veterans office, served in the Army. Donald Hokut works in the veterans office, served in the Navy. And Tawana Brown Robinson works at Willoughby, and she served in the Army. We want to thank all those who served our nation. We're grateful for what they've done serving our country. Happy to have them working here with us. So thank a veteran today. We appreciate you guys, all that served. Are there any public comments today on an agenda item? Anybody want to speak on any particular item on our agenda? If not, we will go ahead and start our meeting. We do have a quorum present today, and voting is Precinct 1, Commissioner Hatfield, Precinct 2, Commissioner Timmons, Sims presiding. Commissioner Malden is out of town today. We do have Commissioner Ebar, Precinct 4, voting. We'll call our meeting to order. It is 9:06 a.m. here on the 5th day, election day of November. We're meeting here in the historic courthouse here in Marshall, Texas. First item this morning is from our auditor. This is an administrative report. Good morning, Ms. Haynes.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. You should have a copy of the September 2024 financials. Please keep in mind these are unaudited and unadjusted financials. On page 1, you will note that we have a fund balance of $24,552,741. Please note that there is one fund that has a negative balance. That is our county grant fund that is due to the confinement grant. I sent the Department of Health and Human Services an email last week checking on the status of the payment of this. They're still trying to determine where the funding's going to come from, so we have not received it as yet. There's about $800,000 to $900,000 that is still outstanding. If we receive it by the end of November, we will be able to post it to FY24. If we do not receive it in November, then it will post to FY25, and this fund will end with a significant negative balance. On page 2 is a summary of the general fund. As of September 2024, we had collected $29,148,645 in comparison to FY23 of $25,384,358. That's an increase of $3.8 million or 14.83%. And you'll note majority of that is related to our taxes. From an expense perspective, we issued payments for $26,704,474,000. Let me start over. $26,400,000. Well, I'm seeing the numbers. I just can't read the numbers. $26,704,474 in comparison to FY23, $23,570,545. That's an increase of $3.1 million. If you'll note, the majority of it is related to public safety. That is where we have a payment for the Motorola contract and along with SB 22. So there's a significant piece in that. Also note, again, if any invoices are outstanding, we can still post one more Commissioner's Court to FY24. If the invoices are not paid in the next Commissioner's Court, then it will post to FY25, and no department has excess funds to cover 24 expenses in 25. So purchasing is really pushing to get all departments' outstanding invoices from 24 paid in this next Commissioner's Court.
I have one question for you. It's on
Yes, sir.
The revenue portion up above, and I see our investment earnings were $1.3 million, but when I looked at Ms. Rushing's report that we'll hear in a minute, it was $1.7 million, I think, for the year.
This is only the general fund.
Okay.
Hers is all funds.
Very good.
On page 3 is a summary of the net position. We collected $2,444,171 in FY24, more than what we spent, versus $1,813,813. That's an increase of $630,000. On page 4 is a summary of the Road and Bridge Fund. Pardon me. As of September 2024, we had collected $10,209,210 in comparison to $6,170,655. That's an increase of $4,038,554. If you'll note, there's $255,000 of the investment fund in the Road and Bridge. So that gets you up to 1.5, and the others are the other department or other funds. The increase of the $4 million is related to our sale of fixed assets, insurance proceeds. Keep in mind we had the motor graders that we sold in the Road and Bridge Fund that is reflected in the other financing area. At the bottom of page 4 is a summary of the expenses. As of September 2024, we had issued payment for $9,951,627 in comparison to $5,784,192. That's an increase of $4,167,435. The increase is related to the payment, the balloon payment for the motor graders that we traded in conjunction with paying cash for the new 6 motor graders that we received, the $2,040,000 that we paid earlier in the year.
Where does the 4.3 million that we spent on contract road work?
That's in Fund 495, which is not reflected in here. It would be reflected on the page 1 where it shows all of the funds. You can go back and look to see that within 495, we issued payment of $2,366,727. So that, along with a partial payment of the Motorola invoice, contract, that's what makes up that 2.3. Okay. On page 5 is a summary of the Road and Bridge Fund from a net position. As of September 2024, we collected $257,582 more than what we spent in comparison to FY23, where we collected $386,463 more than what we spent. On page 8 through 10 is a summary of revenue by department in comparison to budget. On pages 11 through 16 is a summary of expenses by department in comparison to budget. Page 17 is a summary of our debt, which we have 0 debt, and that's all I have for the September. These will change as we pay more invoices at the next time, so we still do not have a final number as to how we are at the end of FY24.
Sure. Any other questions or comments on our financial reports?
Yeah, let me ask you a question. If any of these invoices you said that don't get paid by the end of November under the 2024 rolls in and be paid in 2025 and it's not budgeted, will we have a number that we'll need to amend? Because it was put in the 24 budget, and if it's not invoiced, will it be a line item transfer into the same budget to cover those invoices even though they're gonna be paid in 25?
It wouldn't be a line item transfer. We would have to amend the budget. In the past, we have not done that, but that is an option if you choose to do that.
Well, you're gonna have to put the money either from your general or either you're gonna have to amend it from that budget. I mean, it's a matter of where you sweep it to.
Right. I mean, it will either reduce the fund balance from the end of 24 and you would show a negative comparison to budget, or we can amend the budget to increase the budget for the surplus that should not have been reflected in FY24.
I wouldn't think that you would, like, I guess the statement that got my attention was if it wasn't budgeted by, then it rolled into your 25, and then those are not accounted for in their funds that the new budget year started. So, I mean, you got to pay it from somewhere rather than forcing that fund to be low or in deficit. So, okay. But you'll know as we get closer.
Yes. After the next Commissioners Court, I'll have a very good idea of what's
going to roll over.
What potentially should roll over. I do know that purchasing's working very hard with the Sheriff's Office. Of course, due to the size of that department has the most outstanding invoices. So, so we're working with them trying to get as many paid as possible, so there's not a need for a budget amendment, but that is an option.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to item number 1. That's consideration and approval regarding line item transfers.
There is a line item transfer for FY '24 and FY '25, so there's two different line item transfers. For '24, I am requesting transferring $36,880.33. For FY '25, I am requesting transferring $2,388.15.
Is there a motion to approve both of these line item transfers, FY '24 and '25?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of payment of regular bills.
Requesting payment of $1,213,498.50.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 5-0. 4-0, I'm sorry. Item number 3 is consideration and approval of payroll for October 25, 2024.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 4 is consideration and approval of the engagement letter with Patillo, Brown, and Hill LLP to provide Harrison County audit services for the year ending September 30, 2024, and authorization for the county judge to execute said engagement letter.
We will require a single audit again this year because we did receive $750,000 in grant monies. More than likely, it will be a single audit for the federal government because of the confinement grant. It all depends on where the funding for that confinement grant comes from. And then we'll also do a single audit for the state because of the SB 22 funds.
I noticed this was $44,000 for the audit. Does that include the single audits?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Item number 5 is consideration and approval of the ratification for the request for the transfer of funds in the amount of $200,000 to group health insurance for medical claims.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Atkins. Next up is our Road and Bridge Department. Morning, Mr. Davis.
Good morning, Your Honor. Commissioners, how y'all doing?
Good. First up, we'll hear from your administrative report.
All right, yeah, we're still continuing to focus on cleanup after Hurricane Beryl. So we've been having regular meetings with FEMA on our disaster reimbursement process. So we're continuing to do that. We also got a milling hall going. We got our allotment from TxDOT, but we're also patching, doing overlays, cleaning out ditches, and working on equipment, trying to get ready for next summer. Oh, and we are also still out there at the ag farm, so it's really starting to open up and take shape out there.
Super.
Yeah, we still got a lot of work to do out there, but it's really coming along. Looks good out there.
Good. Any questions for Mr. Davis on his administrative report? If not, we'll move on to consideration approvals, item number 1 of personnel changes for Harrison County Road and Bridge Department.
We've had one new hire. It's a part-time position for the scanning of the records, retention. It's going to take a while. We've got files upon files to scan. We've had one change in the range step. This was a voluntary demotion. This person just did not want to do that job he had, so he stepped down to a lower job.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebar. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 2 is consideration and approval of utility applications submitted to Harrison County Road and Bridge Department as follows. Gill Water Supply, that's on AC Road, Road 1306. East Tex Telephone Co-op on Central Street, which is County Road 1406. TGNR East Texas 2 LLC on Lotta Road, which is County Road 2705. And E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Hope Road, which is County Road 4403.
Yes, sir. All these apps have been reviewed and they do meet our standards outlined in our specifications. One of them is a 2 fiber optic, 1 water line, and when there's 1 oil and gas line on Lotta Road.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Ebar. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of the authorization of publication of a public notice for the purpose of no-through trucks placement order for Davidson Road, which is County Road 4501, in Precinct 4, and set a public hearing as required by the local government code.
Yeah, we're requesting to begin the process of a no-through truck sign placement on Davidson. This is at the request of Commissioner Ebar, which this road has been on a road plan. It's took us several years to complete it, being how it's so long. So we have one more phase of chip sealing at the section we rebuilt this summer. So we're just trying to keep the life of this road good, and it's, traffic control too. So it's a win-win for us if we can keep these big trucks off of it. Cause it
Is
just
there
cuts.
much through traffic there from big trucks?
Yeah, they are. They cut over from one highway to the other, so it's a shortcut for them,
Instead of staying on State Highway on 154 and Farm Market 450, they're cutting through 154 and coming all the way through, tanker trucks. So, I mean, I just hate to see us.
Yeah, a lot of work went in on that
They
road.
need to stay, it is a shorter route for them, but they need to stay on State Road, not tear ours up.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 4 is consideration and action to approve the pre-bid lease purchase of 4 dump trucks through the Texas Interlocal Purchasing System and authorization. Authorize the county judge to execute any and all documents related to said lease purchase agreement for Road and Bridge Department, subject to acceptance of the necessary financial agreement.
Yes, sir. It's just time to flip these 4 dump trucks that's on the buyback program. They did go up like 3%, but then the buyback on them went up the same too. So, I mean, we're still leasing them for $1,200 a month per unit. So you can't get no cheaper than that.
And this is the 13-month term, so I mean, they're not out of warranty, maintenance is low.
That's
It's a
right.
good deal for
We
us.
trade them right back in before service is even due on them. So it's a win-win for us.
And we're financing through Cadence Bank. Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments on this lease purchase of 4 dump trucks? Not all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Davis. Next up is our sheriff administrative report. Good morning, Sheriff.
Morning, Judge, Your Honor, Commissioners, guests.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Our activity summary for 10/2 to 10/29, we answered 2,638 calls for service, 258 criminal reports, 61 were assigned to the Criminal Investigation Division, 84 arrests made by Harrison County Sheriff's Office, 358 traffic contacts, 2 mental transports, and 28 warrants transports for a total of 4,690 miles in the Transport Division. We received 226 legal documents, 128 personal services, 33 tax postings, 23 postings county and district, for a total served of 184. Sent out 1,012 juror notices, Our jail population as of 10/30 was 288 inmates, which is pretty full. We have 27 contract inmates for the U.S. Marshal Service for our total. We're not housing any from Marion County at this time. Our Fire Marshal's Division did 7 citations, 6 fire inspections, 14 illegal dumping cases, picked up 8,820 cubic foot of litter, answered 3 structure fires, fielded 5 complaints, 1 notice of violation, 13 inspections, 21 utility hookups for Upshur Rural Electric, 15 utility hookups for Panola Harrison. We did 15 single-family permits for $5,400, 3 commercial permits for $1,680, for a total money collected of $7,080 for the month.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any questions for the Sheriff on his administrative report? I know your jail's been full, or you,
Extremely. We got some out last week. We sent some to the penitentiary and got some released on probation and some for other reasons, but helped a little. But we still got a little ways to go.
yeah. Very good, well, thank you. And item number 1 is consideration and approval of the renewal of the jail contracts for FY 24 through 25 between Harrison County and several of them, the City of Marshall, Marshall Independent School District, the City of Hallsville, Hallsville Independent School District, the City of Wascom, Wascom Independent School District, Shelby County, Marion County, and Wiley College.
As you know, those are just annual contracts for using the jail, et cetera, for the police departments.
And you and I guess Captain Hain have reviewed these, you're happy with the language in them all?
Yeah.
The fees charged? Very good. Is there a motion to approve these jail contracts?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank y'all.
Next up this morning is our treasurer. Good morning, Ms. Rushing.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Item number 1 is consideration and approval consideration and action regarding the approval of the treasurer's monthly report for September 2024 and authorization to publish on the county website pursuant to local government code section 114.026.
For the month of September 2024, our beginning balance was $6,473,718.42. Receipts were $6,504,677.53. Disbursements, $7,050,660.57. Ending cash for September was $5,927,735.38. Our cash plus investments ending the month of September of 2024 was $29,145,199.45.
You guys have any, is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebar. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor of approving our treasurer's monthly report for September 2024, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 2 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the Harrison County Treasurer's investment report for the month of September 2024.
Beginning the month of September 2024, in our Texas class, we had a balance of $1,112,136.74. Interest rate with Texas class was 5.29. We earned interest of $4,833.73 with an ending balance for September $1,116,970.47. In Ameriprise Financial, we have $945,609.38. With our Texas Bank and Trust Wealth Management, we have invested $21,154,884.22. Total invested is $23,217,464 $23,217,464.07 is our total investment. Our interest earned from investments for September was $226,521.62. With Texas Bank and Trust Money Market for September, we earned $24,438.44. Texas Bank and Trust main account for September, we earned $1,355.27, with a monthly total of $257,149.06, which brings our year-end total of interest earned for fiscal year 2024 to $1,747,322.09.
It's fantastic. It's gotta be some kind of record.
I thought last year was good with 1,000,002. This year, we exceeded that. I can't say what we'll do next year, but I'm happy for this year. Ecstatically happy for this year. And in saying that, I would like to thank you, Judge, for, you're on the investment committee as well. Becky Haynes, our county auditor, my staff, which is April and Kathy, they're here today also, and then Ani from Becky's staff in the auditor's office. It takes all of us to do it and invest it and report it, and they're a great help to earn that much interest.
Great job. Very good.
I'd just like to say, and I think I say it every time we get a positive return, but this is a beyond belief, because this equates to about 2 cents of tax rate. When I came in, going on 10 years ago, we didn't even have an investment committee. Luckily, when Judge Sims came in, he put it back together, and all of you, your office personnel, and y'all have done an outstanding job for the citizens of Harrison County. For the ones of them that's kept us while we're down, in telling us that we're heading manage the tax money in a positive way, they need to be reached out and let known that what y'all done for them and us, every citizen that pays property tax in the county. I just can't say enough good things about it and how much we appreciate y'all.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the staff and the other departments as well, and it takes a team effort, and it was a team effort, and it's paid off very well.
Actually, Commissioner Ebar, we didn't have a treasurer that cared much.
I wasn't gonna go there.
I'll say it. And now
Well-
we have a treasurer that
Don't
cares.
print that, Robert.
I didn't,
I'm all about earning interest. I'm all about earning interest. I do not like paying interest, but I do love to earn interest.
I'm sorry, Robin.
I want to go on the record that I did not enter that fray.
I got caught. She snuck in on us.
I saw her sneak in back there.
Thank you, gentlemen. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Double second.
Motion from Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebar. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Item number 3 is consideration and approval of quarterly fees paid to the state comptroller by the county treasurer for July through September 2024.
For the third quarter 2024, our civil fees paid to the state was $37,055.08. We were able to retain $4.07. Criminal fees report, we paid the state $134,116.22. We were able to retain $20,150.93. Electronic filing report, we paid the state $266.86. Sexual assault report, we paid the state $140. Specialty court report, $124.28. We were able to retain $13.81. Child safety seatbelt report, we paid the state $18.92. We were able to retain the same $18.92. And total paid by the treasurer to the state was $191,909.09. With e-filing already remitted to the state was $38,755. So the grand total for the third quarter 2024 quarterly reports was $230,664.09.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmon. Any questions or comments?
I guess it was last May, I have a brain freeze, I guess, and, someone came and gave a presentation about how we could keep a little bit more. When do we start that?
Well, that was approved for October 1.
Right,
Am I
so
correct?
it'll be effective this last quarter, which started October the 1st.
Okay.
And have you looked into that to see where that, is there one of these categories that would fall into that we would not have to remit back to the state? Or is it will it be a new one?
That's going to be in one that we already have, isn't it?
I would think it'd be in that civil
We're going
fees
to-
report.
It's a civil fee, and we're going to create a new fund for that. That way, it's captured in a fund by itself, so we know how much is truly collected.
Okay, very good.
That way, if we don't continue to retain that, we know how much to send to the state.
Okay.
So we'll get to see that this next month from now, at our first meeting in,
Well, it'll be,
Quarterly though,
oh, yeah.
it's,
no, that's right.
this report is quarterly, but we'll start keeping it effective October.
So we'll see it at the next quarterly report.
Correct.
Very good.
Well, no, you won't, because we won't be remitting it at all. It'll just be part of our fund balance, so it won't be on the quarterly report. What you will see is a new fund added on my report that shows all of the funds listing each year's report that shows the fund
Okay.
listing. There'll be a new fund for the, ADR,
Okay.
fee that we will be retaining.
But we should be able to have a total of what we retain for the first quarter.
We'll have a total for each month as
Yeah.
the month progresses.
is there a max that you can retain, or I mean,
Whatever we
whatever it generates?
Yes, sir. Whatever we are allowed to collect, we will retain.
Good question,
Thank
Commissioner.
you.
Thank you.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Rushing.
All right, thank you.
Next up from purchasing. Good morning, Ms. Haynes.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Item number 1 is consideration and approval to declare listed fixed assets as salvage and/or surplus and to appropriately dispose of said items.
Yes, sir. These first 4, there were units from the Sheriff's Department. They were swapped out, they're being swapped out with our lease program.
Okay, so these are enterprise vehicles?
Yes, sir.
And the rest look like computers?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 2 is consideration and approval for Darla Hayes, a purchasing agent, to submit membership applications on behalf of Harrison County for various co-op boards at no cost to the county.
Yes, sir. And just, I did some training the other day and learned that there's a whole lot of other boards out there than I was aware of from just what the state tells you. There are boards all over the United States that have contracts with Texas. They have representatives for Texas, other states as well. And a lot of them are things we've not utilized before, but they do require membership. It don't cost us any money. If someone is awarded a contract through there, then that's where their money comes in. It's not ever through us. But I didn't want to join any memberships without having permission first. So,
So are we a member of any co-ops?
I believe we're
Currently.
like Buy Board and
The TIPS?
TIPS, and there's another one.
Region
Please.
7, overall.
You know, I don't, that's not on my list. I'm trying, there's something, it's TX something, I wasn't familiar with that either till I took my class, but I'm investigating those further. But a lot of these, the reason I started investigating was because of pharmaceuticals. Not a lot of them have different pharmaceutical options. And we need to be looking for other avenues to pursue in the pharmaceutical, because for the jail and for our indigent care. that's when I started looking. And this particular one that I sent y'all is one that's available for pharmaceutical. And so I've been talking with Debbie, and we need to find another contract for our pharmaceuticals, or we need to bid out for, let me just say that, we need to bid out unless we're a member of a board, and then the board can do that for us. We just tell them what we need, and they find somebody that's suitable for us and their pricing is already, it works like the other boards. Their pricing's already the lowest, and the best, so.
So is that I guess we'll get to that in a minute, but is that your intent just to use this co-op just for pharmaceuticals?
Well, I was gonna go in further. I just happened to be doing the pharmaceutical one and noticed that they are available for that. And sometimes we need to explore other options for the pharmaceuticals, because this medication gets crazy sometimes, and I don't think we're getting the best pricing in the contract that we had previously. So that's why I'm exploring other options. But there are other boards out there for other things. Most of them are like construction, I've noticed. And I just wanted to be able to explore other options, and so that we can find something else that we can utilize for other contracts that come due.
Sure.
Are you aware of the East Texas Council on Governments co-op program they've got?
I have not explored that all the way yet, but that's on my list. I have several on the list that I'm going to. I just stumbled on this because we were looking for pharmaceutical things. And so
Please reach out. We've
sure will.
used them in the past, and it's an outstanding program.
Okay, I certainly will.
Please
I intend to.
reach out over there with them. They'll be more than glad to work with you on
Okay,
that.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, so this is consideration for Darla to join these various co-op boards at no cost to the county. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions, comments? Any other questions, comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Item number 3 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the specifications for pharmaceutical products for Harrison County to be used for a request for proposals or bids for said products.
Yes. This is, the reason I was looking at pharmaceuticals is our contract with the current pharmacy that we use is, I don't know what I'm looking for. It needs to be, it should be renewed if we're going to renew it, but we were looking at other options to see if there was something better for us out there. And Debbie's been she went to a conference recently and visited with some vendors and came up with a lot of things that we need to consider in our new contract.
Because right now, we're not under contract with Mathewson. And I spoke with a vendor, pharmaceutical company, that is IPM, and we would get Medicaid rate. We would pay Medicaid rates instead of the rates that we're paying right now. For example, we paid $143.36 for a prescription, where Medicaid rates would be $35.42.
And is this IPM can be done through the co-op if we join this co-op, is that right?
IPM is not a co-op. They are not a co-op.
No, I understand they're not a co-op, but through this co-op board that we would
Yes,
join,
yes,
they're
They
a
would
member of that
Yes.
co-op, so that we,
And we could use use them for the jail and the indigent clients. And it sounds really good because our indigent clients would not have to come to us for a voucher. Every time they go to the pharmacy, they would have an option of Kroger Pharmacy or Walmart.
so if the jail needed a prescription, where would they go to get, would they also go to Kroger's or Walmart?
If it's an emergency, yes, they would.
If it's not, do they get mailed to them?
It's mail.
Okay,
And the turnaround time is 1 to 2 days.
okay.
And all the over-the-counter medications that are prescriptions, they do not do prescriptions for the over-the-counter. It would be stock medication, which would save the jail a lot of money doing it that way. because they have a lot of over-the-counter medications that indigent does not pay for because that is not, over-the-counter medications is not reported to the state.
I see.
So all over-the-counter is, the jail has to pay for, and it's a lot.
Sure.
By doing it by prescription.
Yeah, doing it by prescription, and it should not be prescription. I think that, you know, all over-the-counter should be, bought by bulk.
Sure.
You know, by
Aspirin,
stock.
Tylenol, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you visited with Captain Hain about this, and he's comfortable with IPM?
I have not spoke to him, yet.
We wanted to present first
Sure.
to y'all
Well,
to see if it's
y'all-
even possible.
Certainly, y'all get some details and sit down with him and make
Yes,
sure.
IPM will be at the next Commissioners Court, on November the 19th, and they
Super.
will do a presentation
Very good.
That's the company
that I spoke with, in San Antonio
They
a
have
couple of weeks ago.
a lot of options that we are not receiving.
Yes.
In the way of reporting, just how things are reported into, for instance, Debbie, when she gets a bill, she has to go through the whole bill and be sure that that they haven't filled it too soon, or if they haven't done something. These top companies, they do all that for you. And if someone's, for instance, she had one the other day that they filled a prescription that was quite expensive on the 1st of November, and the person was released on the 2nd.
And it's a very expensive medication that they ordered.
But we're still having to
Yeah,
pay it.
and we're still gonna have to pay it.
Sure.
And it's gonna be returned, but we will not get a full credit.
Well, don't return it, flush it.
Flush it. Right,
But it, like, the statement I just received yesterday is 35 pages long. And it will take me 3 to 4 days to go through the whole statement, because indigent pays for 3, and if they get over 3, the jail pays for. So I have to go through every page and see how many they get. And going through a pharmaceutical company, it will be in the computer already, and they keep up with everything. And it will take, they said, about 10 minutes for me to do the statement.
Wow. So we'll get cheaper prices and less work on the
Yes, sir.
administrative end.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
And also, the juvenile center,
oh,
they could piggyback on us, and all that would be included too, and I could just separate them, and they would get discounted rate also.
Yes, right now, they're not included in your.
No,
in our
they're not
contract right
included now.
I spoke with the purchasing agent in Gregg County, and she told me that on their pharmaceutical contracts, that they encompass the whole county. In other words, other departments, like whatever jails, juvenile, et cetera, would all be encompassed in their pharmaceutical contracts. So, and this also, you'd be able to use a different company for different things if you find something cheaper with another company. Like her indigent could go through another company if she needed to save more money that way. It's just how we structure it, but we would like permission to be able to
Super.
pursue
Yeah.
looking for another avenue, because we are not under contract right now, which means that they can probably charge us whatever they want to charge us.
Yeah, and I have to watch the prices every month, you know, because first of the month, they may charge us one price, and at the end of the month, on the same client, inmate or client, they may charge us $10 more. And I'll call them, you know, and catch them on it. I just have to watch everything that the statement says, you know, every month. And with IPM, we wouldn't have to do any of that stuff.
Very good. All right, in front of us, number 3, this is requesting approval for the specifications for pharmaceutical products for Harrison County to be used in the request for proposals of bids for said products. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any other questions or
I
comments?
got a question. Are
Yes,
we approving, because because like you asked, they had to sit down and talk with Mr. Haney at the jail to make sure that all this is gonna work for everybody.
Right.
So this motion today is to just move
Set it in
forward
motion,
Yes.
yes, sir,
to see,
yes, sir.
And y'all are gonna sit down with them and
Yes,
go
sir.
over it.
Oh, yes.
This is not for,
Yes.
to approve a contract. We had to submit for the specs in the contract to, so that you could see what we were requesting in a contract, so to speak, with anybody. But we wanted to pursue
And then
See,
they're
this-
gonna
options
come
to
and
see
give a
what's gonna
presentation.
benefit the county is what we're
Yeah.
looking for.
Okay.
See, our pharmaceutical, the statement will go from like $20,000 to maybe $8,000. You know, it's a big, big difference.
Yeah. We just want the specs approved so that we can pursue, and then of course, it would come to court before we do
Oh,
anything
yeah.
anyway.
Okay.
It's all about saving
Yeah.
money.
This is just
you
the
know.
beginning phase, just kind of like our investigative
Okay.
stuff.
Very good.
All right.
Any other questions or comments? We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 4-0. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under new business, item number 1, this is consideration and action to approve regarding the approval of the annual FY 24-25 interlocal agreements for ambulance, rescue, public library services, and animal shelter services between Harrison County and the city of Marshall pursuant to approval and execution by the City Commission of Marshall, Texas. You guys have had a chance to review our interlocal agreements with the city for ambulance service, library services, and animal shelter services. These have not changed since last year. They're the same as last year.
Are we doing this as individually or as a group? Because I'd like to see us pull the animal shelter out and table it at this meeting and not approve till we find out what their plan is to address, the services that we're supposed to be getting under the contract that was signed. Because I get calls of people from the county out in my precinct that try to take it, they won't take it. So I don't think I'm the only one getting those calls. I'd just like to know what their plan is. We're probably in year 4 or year 5 of a 10-year plan of a contract that they were to take and they're not taking them. So, are they in breach of contract or what? I just think that we need some answers before we enter into it and lose another year. I'm not saying we don't do it, but I'd like more information from the city as far as what their plan is.
Sure, so this item is for the approval of all 3, but there's been no motion. So if you'd like to make a motion that removes the animal shelter services and only includes the ambulance and library, you can do that.
That's my motion.
And that's my second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Ebar, a second by Commissioner Timmons to approve the interlocal agreements for FY 24-25 for ambulance rescue and public library services, excluding animal shelter services between Harrison County and the city of Marshall. We got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments?
I have a comment on that. I'm gonna support Commissioner Ebarb and Commissioner Timmons on this. I'm very disappointed in several years back, the county, and I worked hard to make it happen. Approved to give the city of Marshall $250,000 for an animal shelter. And they also signed a letter that said for 10 years they would take in animals for the county. So far, I think they've taken in 0. I cannot support this. I was lied to and told by people that was pushing this through. They guaranteed me that the city of Marshall would take in these animals out of county. They have not done that. They have not kept their word. They are not a very good partner with us on this, and I cannot support it. I cannot support it, so. But anyway, enough said on that.
Also, with that $250,000, if they are not going to honor their part of the deal, do we get $250,000 back? That's where I am on it. to me, it's a breach of contract.
Sure.
And if they're not gonna honor the contract, I think they need to give us our money back. I bet you we can find plenty of places over here to use that money. We got some roads need to be fixed.
Judge, we also, you don't mind me saying, we also supply the city with two contract inmates, or not contract, two inmates, to assist them in labor around the shelter 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
And for the last 2 or 3 years. They get a lot from us.
Thanks, Sheriff. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Next up, this is item number 2, consideration and approval to enter into an interlocal contract for IT services with East Texas Council of Governments, ETCOG, for configuration and support services for the Ring Central cloud-based telephone solutions as requested by Charles Nenninger, our IT manager. Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Assuming you all had a chance to review the material that I presented to you. First of all, we start off with this Harrison County cloud-based phone system components that we sent to all the vendors that we wanted to have party in the process. And that's where we started. This has been going on for about 1.5 years, trying to weed out and match it best with what is best going to serve the county. So the people that bid were Ring Central, which is through the ETCOG, Go-To, which is Robert Nance at Right Click Plus, excuse me, Vested Networks, which is a company that we ran across at the technology conference, then Complete Voice System, which is what was offered by Conterra, who is our current manager of our phone system, but they're not doing our phone system, that's in-house. So you can see on this page, that page, I broke down the monthly cost and annual cost in the terms and things like that. There are some comments over at the side, but we basically put everything together on the next page where it says best value determination. We felt that, and when I say we, the IT department, felt like the Ring Central was the best match for the county. It was the cheapest, but the most robust. Go-To was a close second. Conterra and Vested were much more expensive, so we kind of knocked those off. We would have been happy with any of the products that these 4 companies offered, but we felt like the Ring Central was the best match for us. Down at the bottom of the page, I showed what we were requesting in the budget, and that's what's there. So looks like we're going to come in under budget on everything.
So you got plenty in your budget to cover this?
Yes, sir,
replacement of our
even
telephone.
to make some enhancements before we're done.
Fantastic.
Our goal is to come in and put in a basic phone system first, and then we're going to do the icing and the cherries and all the sprinkles on later.
You'll have all that done by the end of the year?
That probably not. Close.
Okay.
Okay, the next page is Ring Central versus competition. That's a page that ETCOG gave me as it compares their product with some of the others. You see it checks most of the boxes. And the page following that is similar. It has the resources that the graph portrayed. Next page, I gave you the Ring Central all-in-one phone team messaging page. You can go to that if you want to look at more and see what's available. The next page is a phone, a cell phone, and a laptop. You can make it all transparent where you can do your phone on either one of the devices. We call it soft phones, where you can be anywhere and act like you're sitting there in your office. And it all works integratedly. And when you license a phone, you get all 3 capabilities. Next one is a proposal for Ring Central. As you can see, it's a 5-year contract or agreement. And it's the Ring X level of licensing. And there's only one component that I want you to take a look at. Right underneath the thin orange bar, it says compliance and administrative cost fee. Those are ones that Ring Central charges us per license for the support they give us. And also some of that money goes to EdCog, which allows them to do more projects with other people. So it's kind of they put money in their pool so they can help other people as they go. The E911, everybody has to pay that for license. That goes to the 911 cause. Then the Federal Universal Service Fund is going to be about $400 to $500 per month. And that's something that everybody has to pay that way, that the judge can get internet straight to his house because it's an underserved area and things like that. So Ring Central is, and EdCog is on tips, so we're okay there as far as purchasing. The main thing is over there to the right, it gives you your monthly charge and your annual charge, so you can see what we're dealing with there. That's all I have other than the agreement. And the agreement is mainly just an interlocal agreement that lets EdCog become our agent with Ring Central. They are a distributor for Ring Central, and they'll just be there helping us along the way. Judge, you asked about how long it will take. It just depends on how fast we can get things built up. After this is signed and sent to EdCog, they can establish within a couple of days the server that's in the cloud for us, and we can start building things out as we go there. And our intention is to make it as transparent as possible. There will be some loss of services, but we're going to look at holidays to do that and weekend. Just kind of depends on what kind of throughput we get from the department heads, because everybody's going to be a little bit different. So we'll have to do that. And there'll be a lot of discovery. And we'll probably start some small department first, set them up in the upstairs room over at the annex, and try to set that up and test it out. And that way, before we go pushing big problems.
Very good. Thank you for your work on that, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions for Mr. Nenninger? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up, item number 3 is consideration and action to approve the designation of Sherilyn Johnson, our Human Resources Director, as the ADA Coordinator. You guys have probably heard me talk some about the requirement that we have. It was brought to us by TxDOT that we review our ADA policies and compliance, and this is no small chore. We got the information, and there's a lot to it. I guess Sherilyn heard me crying all the way from over there when I was reading through this, and she volunteered to help and to take on this job, not just to help. She said she'll do it, but certainly I will do everything we can to help you, and I appreciate you being willing to take that on. It's no small chore. So today, this request is for the court to designate her as our ADA coordinator. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. Thank you, Sherilyn, for all you've been doing and this as well. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am, for volunteering.
Is there any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 4 is consideration and action regarding the approval, subject to ratification in open court, the termination of the burn ban for Harrison County effective November 1st, 2024 at 12 noon. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. We got one more item. It's going to take us a few minutes to go through this with Mr. Harmon on our health plan. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll we'll come back. It is 10:06. We'll be back just after 10:10.